Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash.
And Becky, the Bash edition.
Today, we have a stonker of an episode for you.
Getting hot and feisty.
Yeah, there's like, I get scared to talk. I'm then like crying.
Yeah,
but we both end up crying. Emotion.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable, it's a very raw one, it's a very triggering one. I didn't want to do this episode.
She didn't.
But I did it.
It was important.
Yeah, it's important. It's got a really important message about it. And this is basically all about how can you cope with all the dark stuff that is going on in the world right now. And this is not just a how to fix. This is what you need to do step by step. We're talking about a whole perspective reprogramming shift that needs to be done if we're going to start changing things and getting somewhere else.
That's
and
right.
Most importantly, for you to feel peace in this crazy, crazy dark world that we're living in at the moment.
Yeah. And we just want everyone to raise that vibration and get that light out there so we can conquer the dark.
Yeah. And it's important to say as well, like, this is one where Bex and I have like slightly different views.
Yeah.
And so that kind of comes into it a little bit.
Yeah.
In the hope of showing that
we can be open to each other's opinions.
Yes. Enjoy, guys. Before we start, if your mind is constantly telling you, I should be doing more, and you're stuck in that cycle of overthinking, pressure, and never feeling like you've done enough, we've made you a free 12-minute audio reset. It's called Return to Self, and it's linked in the show notes.
Oh my God.
I can't even
nervous
keep it together.
laughing over here.
Can't even get together the intro. Okay, guys, right. I'm going to be completely honest from the start. I'm nervous to do this episode.
Yeah.
I'm not very often nervous about doing episodes.
No.
This one I'm a bit scared about. Bex is going to like hold me together, but I'm doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
And we've set the intention that this episode with our guides, with ourselves, etc., that this episode comes from a place of love, absolute love, understanding, but also speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm nervous is because this is me being very vulnerable and and actually me speaking as I feel is my truth, but my truth is going to be extremely triggering. And like, it's going to probably, like, a lot of people aren't going to maybe necessarily understand it, or people are going to disagree with it. And that's going against all my like things of that I'm trying to work on like right now of I have to speak my truth. I have to own what I believe, but I also have to be okay with the fact that it is going to upset people, or it is going to trigger people, and people aren't going to like me.
But what it also will do is open a lot of people's minds.
Hopefully.
Because, Tash has this really great way of opening your mind and getting you to see it from another perspective. So hopefully that's how most people will see it.
I hope so. And again, our aim of doing this is to purely what you've just said, open people's minds to another perspective. It's not about, I'm not in the business of trying to get people to agree with me or see my way as right, because it's not. It's just my truth, and it's who I am, and it's who I've always been as a person, and it's something that I've wrestled with. And it's important to say as well, like, we're actually, as much as I'm nervous to do this episode, I'm so excited because Becky and I have differing ways of seeing this topic.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be interesting for you guys to see us not be nodding along and agreeing with each other, but how because we often have these conversations on our own in private, don't we?
We do.
And of how, like, we can basically, it's not about her agreeing with me or me agreeing with her or us trying to push our opinions on each other, but trying to understand both sides from a bigger perspective.
Yeah.
And taking what you need for yourself, and realizing that we don't have to agree with each other. And this is what we're trying to do. This is the whole message. In the world right now, everyone's got so many different opinions which they're saying as facts, and they want everyone to agree with them, and that's not, somewhere along the lines we've gone, that's not what we're supposed to be.
Where are we getting with this attitude?
Nowhere.
Every time I turn the telly on or look at my phone, it's just people arguing, and going round and round in circles
and trying to prove their point, to say
Anger.
I'm right and you're wrong. And it's just not about that.
No.
This episode is to show that we can all have our own different views and that be okay. And our goal right now, I think, is to step away from this trying to prove people wrong or prove ourselves right, and just accept that it's all okay.
Yeah.
And you can understand where people are coming from, because you're trying to be open enough that you can, and with that comes compassion, etc. But also, whilst hearing other people's opinions and understanding them and being open to them, also knowing, and it's okay for that to not be my truth, and I know what my truth is, and I'm gonna stand by that.
That is very useful, because then when you can do that and hear everyone's opinions, that cuts the anger out for you. So, like, for example, like when I do talk to Tash, she softens everything and I'm not angry at her at all. And so this is why we want you to I really want to demonstrate that, hopefully, to everybody. They'll see what Tash is saying, and with her energy and everything, how it just softens everything, and you can accept what she's saying, and actually you're not angry, you're not left feeling angry about it.
Yeah, and
we could all do that.
Because again, it comes back to how we feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who wants to feel angry all the time? Who wants to feel afraid all the time? Who, we don't want that. And that's, again, why we've chosen to do this episode. And I feel like we're being very cryptic.
Yeah.
So let's just dive in. Effectively, what this episode is about is how do we deal right now with all the heinous, horrible stuff that's going on in the world right now. As of this moment, it's the end of February 2026. We don't need to say all the things that have come out right now in this time period. I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
But, it's not just the one thing that's kind of coming out at the moment. It's the whole world. It's like everything that's going on. It's been a build up to this point, hasn't it? There's lots of horrible things going on in the world. And how do we deal with that? Because we're all feeling the effects of it now. It's really heavy energy. Whether you believe you're spiritual or in touch with energy or not, we are all, as a collective, feeling this energy.
Yeah.
And like our mission, as it always has been with this podcast, my absolute mission as a soul here is to try and help people step out of that cycle of fear, this prison of fear and control, and remember who you are as a person, so that you don't have to feel that. Like, despite what's going on, you can still feel and live in a reality of love and peace and safety and joy and fulfillment.
That's what we need.
Yeah. And that feels like so unrealistic at this point.
Yeah.
The way of life's going. So that's why we wanted to do. That's our premise of this episode, is how do you cope with this? But the reason, like, we're making such a big deal about it right now is that it's coming. I see the world in a bit of a different way to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But as we said before, these podcasts are always very spirit-led. We always, ask, what are we talking about today? We had no idea. And then this came through very clearly. And oftentimes I have a lot of themes come up in my life, and it's brought through my clients, which is it's just amazing. And I see the same thing come up. It's so funny. Like, I'll not have spoken about this particular topic with anyone, and then all of a sudden I'll have multiple clients and myself say the same thing. That's what's happened with this. So I've had 2 clients in the space of 3 days that have opened up to me about this particular feeling. And they've said, I don't really even want to tell you this, but I feel like I have to. And I'm like, right, you're telling me this because I feel the same as you, and I can understand, and I've dealt with this as well. So I empathize.
Yeah.
So because that's happened now, that's where I felt like, oh, it's time to speak up. And that's why I'm scared and a bit nervous because it's going against all of what I've tried to hide, what I've from myself, obviously from the world, from myself, what I've shamed myself about. It's something that I've had to work on a lot in my spiritual self-growth journey, because it goes against the way most people think, and my clients are saying the same thing, but I feel like we've been made to feel this way for a reason. We've come in with this ability for a reason that's natural to us, because I feel like that's where we want the whole world to get to, and it's scary because it, like I said, it triggers a lot of people, makes a lot of people angry. You still can't see it, that you understand the way I see things, but you still can't feel it for yourself.
No.
And that's where this episode is going to be really interesting, because Becky does have a different way of seeing the world than me. And she pushes me to see things in another way as well. But it's also strengthened the way it's helped me to strengthen. Yeah, but I can't, this is who I am. This is part of me. I can't see it any other way. And so now I'm starting to embrace it, then hide it and feel shame for it. So I think it's story time.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how I work, isn't it? It's like past experience. And I wonder then, it will be really interesting to see how many people resonate with my story or don't, because I feel like it'll be maybe a smaller amount, but who knows? It'll be so interesting. So if you want to come into our Facebook group, it's private and it's a safe space. If you want to come in and say, hey, I resonate with you, Tash, on this episode, then, oh my God, please do. But also, if you don't, and if you're more on the side of Becky or another side, like, I'm so interested to hear people's opinions.
That's what it's about, right? Yeah, let's just all have peaceful, peaceful conversations, trying to understand each other.
Exactly.
It's the only way we're going to get anywhere.
Yeah. So we're going to go straight into it. I'm going to speak. This is going to be good for my throat chakra. It's been feeling kind of tight lately. Maybe it's known as this coming up. Okay, right. So from the time I was a little girl, I was always very aware that I had this intense empathy and compassion for people I shouldn't have.
Oh, that's adorable.
Okay, Becky and I have been talking about this just before we've come on the podcast, and every time I start talking about it, I feel like a well of emotion coming up. So excuse me if I get emotional with this podcast, but it's important. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening and helping me with this, because, as much as we like to help people, we're always receiving help from you guys listening as well, even though you don't know it, we are. So I've always had this deep compassion and empathy for people that I shouldn't have. And that can go from all, there's a scale. So, people where like technically everyone's saying they're bad, they've done something wrong, and that could be something really minor, to something big. And I haven't understood why, but I felt it so deeply. And as much as everyone else was feeling sorry for, say, the victim of that person, it bothered me because for some reason I was feeling compassion more strongly. Well, is that the right word? I don't know. But more strongly for the perpetrator, let's just say, in these terms. And it's not that I wasn't feeling compassion for the victim, because obviously I was. It's almost like that's a given. Like that, like everybody would feel that.
Sure.
That's a given.
Yeah.
I feel that. But then this empathy, this compassion, this pain that I felt for the perpetrator felt so wrong to me, to my mind, because I'm like, again, it's programming. This world has programmed us to believe that this person's wrong, this person's right, and there's no in between, and it's just black and white. And it's really difficult when there really truly is somebody on one side of the scale that does suffer badly. For example, let's just take a murder. So we're talking in context. Let's just take a murderer. Clearly you've got the perpetrator and a victim. I know that. I'm not stupid. Like, I'm not living in Delulu land. And so that victim there, we've clearly got someone who's had their will, it's taken their will against them, and they've suffered dreadfully, and it's wrong and it's not right. And that gives pain. Like, that's pain. I feel that. But then you've got this other side of the coin that they're just bad, and it's just hate and just all anger and all of it towards them. And I feel that too. So it's important to say.
That's why it's confusing for you. Yeah.
So I felt that too. But then at the same time, there's this other, and that feels right to me.
Yeah.
Because, that's what
you're told.
Do. Yeah. And then then I have this other part of me that just has this intense sadness and
Mm.
pain for this murderer, let's
Mhm.
just say, for
Mhm.
example. And it doesn't make sense to me. And I've just been
Mhm.
like, shame to me. Why are you feeling like that? I'm talking from a child. Why do you feel like that towards them? That's wrong. What is wrong with you? You're sick in the head. Like,
Oh.
they're a bad person. And yet, like, I can feel this. Emotional. So weird. But I can feel this like pain. And
You feel everything behind it. That's the thing. It's not black and white for you.
but as a child, I didn't know. Like, it didn't make any
No.
sense because obviously
No.
I didn't know that I was picking up on people's feelings,
No.
or I was seeing, like, what I now know I do is I can see into someone's soul. Like,
Mhm.
I see their soul
You
for
didn't
what
know
they are.
that.
I didn't know
But that's
that.
exactly what you were doing.
Yeah. And it's only now, like, as an adult and as I've come into doing this work that I do now,
Mm.
I'm like, oh gosh, okay. With the work that I do now, obviously I'm looking at the human and the soul, which
Mm.
is awesome.
Mm.
But looking at the human, I now, from the work that I do, I see why people become the people they are because
Yeah.
of their programming, because
Yeah.
of what they've learned to believe about themselves and the world from what was given to them when they were pure sponges,
Mm.
and obviously I work with people who, they've become a person that's a people pleaser. They don't speak up for themselves. They're unfulfilled. They're not in their joy. They're not in their power. Like, I
Yeah.
work with them and I can see how that's created who they are.
Mm.
But then you cannot do that and see that and know that and then not apply that to the
Can't.
people that do
No.
bad things
Can't.
in this world.
That's right.
It doesn't compute with me
No.
anymore
You couldn't
because
do what you were doing, could you?
no.
If you could just switch it on and off.
Yeah,
No.
it doesn't make sense to
No.
me. I can see so clearly. It's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do and I talk about on this podcast, your beliefs form your reality, da 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 da. I can't say that and then just apply that to one type of person
Sure.
and not apply it to anyone else. It makes
Yeah.
no sense to
No,
me.
it doesn't.
And then put on top of that, the work that I do on a soul level in terms of past life regression, understanding the spiritual side of things, this like about that we are more than just this human
Yeah.
being now, and that we have a bigger soul, we have lived other lives,
Soul contracts.
soul contracts, right? So now I'm also seeing it. It's not only just I'm seeing it from, well, this is why on a human level you're programmed to be like that and see the world that way in yourself. But also now I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Did they plan to do that? Is that part of a contract to help others? And how bad it is? Did everybody decide
Mm.
that was what was going to take place? Again, very triggering for people to
Mhm.
hear.
Mhm.
Like, I can hear people going, you've lost the plot, spiritual bypass nonsense, like, where is the world coming to? And I know there's a part of a view that we're going to talk about with you where you do have that
Mm.
to a certain extent, not
Yeah.
to this, but to
No.
a certain extent on the more human stuff. And I see that.
Yeah.
Like, I do truly see that.
Mm.
But I think how I get away, and it's really difficult because it's like I said, it's a constant battle because I get it, I understand it, and then you do start questioning yourself. Well,
Yeah.
have I gone so deep in this spiritual world that I'm just making excuses for awful things to happen and just be like love and light? But I'm not that. I know me, and I also, and this is why I said about when I was a little girl, I also then go back to when I was a little girl and I had no concept of spirituality or any of that stuff. I had no idea, and yet I was still feeling it.
Yeah. You know that's who you
That's
are.
who
to
I
your
am.
core, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'll never forget. And this is so hard for people to hear because I also know I have people that I know very well. I have a lot of people in my family line who have suffered from abuse, sexual abuse, and I've always known this from a young child as well. It's been in my life. And I remember when I was a teenager, they did this documentary about
Oh,
paedophiles.
I
Do you
saw
remember
that.
that one?
With the with the brain, studying their brain.
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
all had the same part of their brain
Yeah,
missing. I
that.
saw that.
And did you see the one where was that the same one as where they followed them around?
Possibly. I don't remember it in a lot of detail, but I remember thinking, wow, that was a little bit of that opened my mind a
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
So there was that. So obviously
Yeah.
I loved all the science. At that point, I was
Yeah.
very science led. So I loved that. But there
Mm.
was one, again, getting back to the human kind of
Yeah.
connection, which for me, there was a documentary, and I was an older teenager, potentially even in my early 20s.
Right.
I think it was before I was a mum. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember. And they did a documentary on, say, 4 paedophiles,
Oh, I
different
didn't
types
see
of
that one.
paedophiles, right?
Mm.
And they followed them around, and I think they were talking about chemical castration as
Okay.
well as all of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And it broke my heart. It broke my heart because
Mm.
I felt them. I
Mm.
saw them talking, and I felt them, and they didn't want to be like that. Like, I felt their pain. They hated who they were. They were living in this absolute shame. They hated themselves. They wanted to be chemically like, just stop this.
Yes.
Stop, do something to stop this. Put me in prison, get me away. I can't stop
Mm.
it. And again, like, it sticks in my mind. These things stick in our mind for a reason, don't
Mm.
they? That always stuck in my mind because I remember feeling so torn. I remember
Mm.
looking and hearing their
Mm.
stories of what they did and how they felt, and it repulsed me.
Mhm.
It absolutely repulsed me, and it was so wrong. And I had all that, again, everything that normal people
Yeah.
would feel, and yet at the same time, I had that same feeling of like,
You could see
I
what's behind it all.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for you. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, and I wanted to help them. I wanted to
Mm.
give them a hug and just say, I
Mm.
see you. Like,
Mm.
I'm so sorry. I see you.
Yeah.
And um and I was fighting it again because I was just like, what is wrong with you? And I think I must have been like in 20 because I was with Chris, and I think I was brave enough at that point to say something to him
Mhm.
and say, I feel sorry for that person. Do you?
Mm.
And he was like, no, what's wrong with you? Blah, blah,
Oh,
blah," like,
confirmed what
and I
you
was like,
thought.
oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with me. Like, this isn't
Oh.
like right. And it shut it away. And, we spoke on a few episodes ago about this heart wall, this protection
Yeah.
around a heart. That was definitely a good few layers of bricks that I put around my heart because I'm
Mm.
like, again, can't feel that too deeply. That's wrong. That's bad.
Yeah.
Let's block that out. Don't want to feel anything
Mm-mm.
then, like, because I
No.
can't trust what I feel. That definitely
Sure.
contributed
Yeah.
to it. And so, that was like when I started becoming numb. That was that was
Yeah.
the beginning of my downfall of disconnecting from my intuition.
Sure. That's one of your gifts, is how you see into people's soul.
Yeah.
And you
Shut it
feel
down.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut that down.
I shut it down because I felt it was painful and it felt
Yeah.
wrong.
Mhm.
It went against my
Mhm.
identity and it went against my programming. You cannot think like that. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It is shameful, and it doesn't make any sense. And then once I started breaking down my heart wall, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. It's probably like, I don't know, maybe 4 episodes back or something, 3 or 4 episodes back. Once I started breaking down my heart wall and figuring all this out when I stepped into my spiritual journey, it was then that all these things started popping into my head as I was trying to realize, what are my spiritual like gifts? What have I come in here to?
Yeah.
And I remembered that and I was like, oh, okay. Now that makes sense. I still get that that's triggering to people and I still got to keep it quiet. Like even now, like I'm still feeling like, because I'm nervous about doing this, but I'm doing it and I'm putting this out there, but I'm still nervous. So I'm still hiding it to a certain extent. But I started appreciating it and seeing it for what it was. So I started trying to work on letting that shame go. And in so doing that revealed my purpose, what I feel is like my purpose and my mission here.
Yeah.
And everyone always says like, how do I find my soul purpose? How do I find my soul mission?
Yeah.
It's not one answer. It's so many things. How many episodes and things have we spoken about where I said, and that led me to my soul mission, and that led me to realize there's so many things.
Yeah.
And it's always with your shadows. Like that was something I just didn't want to face and that I shamed. But by bringing it up and by doing the work around my worth and belief in myself and, my intuition and being open, seeing things from a higher perspective, I enabled myself to find out what my soul mission was, to accept it and to give myself love and start seeing that as a positive thing.
That's
now.
right. You couldn't do what you were doing. Like you say, you can't just switch it on and off. You have to be that to be able to be as good as you are at your job.
Yeah.
And there's no surprise that you found hypnotherapy
Mhm.
to help you with that,
No.
because that must have really helped for
It
you to
made sense.
understand why
Yeah.
you were feeling all these things, because hypnotherapy teaches you everything that you already know and you were already feeling and you were already seeing behind all these
It just
things.
slotted into place
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me. So yeah, and so then it's important to say that like I said, I've had two clients who see the world in the same
yeah,
way as me and who have been again ashamed of it,
yeah.
and won't speak out about it, and has caused problems in their lives as it
Right.
had me, because
Mm.
I see the good in everyone, and because I feel for the people that you shouldn't necessarily feel. I'm
Mhm.
vulnerable.
Yeah,
I'm not anymore. I was vulnerable
yeah,
because I would see the good in them, and they're still humans, and they can still take advantage of you, and you can get yourself into situations that aren't ideal
yeah.
because of this love. So I think it's really
Sure.
important to say that that was a big part of my learning as well,
Mm,
learn boundaries, to
mm.
learn that you can feel this like love for the bad in inverted commas person, but you also do need to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to overgive, or do you know what I mean? You don't have to
Well,
save, you don't have to rescue.
yeah, I feel like you've just got it down. Like say this a lot, but I don't feel like you can argue with everything that you've just said.
Mm, mm.
Even though I want to.
Yeah, so
But then that's not your job. So your job is to do what you've just done. Because what
mm,
I was also hearing was, yeah, well, but how are we going to fix that then, Tash?
yeah, which you
And I can
always
hear people like, yeah, well, what are we going to do then? Just go, oh, it's all right, don't worry about it, love you.
yes.
And then I'm hearing in my head, yeah, but that's not what you're here to do. You're not here to find a solution,
Mm,
and you don't have to.
mm,
That's not your job.
yeah.
You're just here because because you one of your many gifts is to come in and see into the soul and see what's behind that and pick it apart, and you want to help these people. That is your mission. So that is why you see the world.
Mm.
But yeah, you can just hear people saying, yeah, but then how do we fix this? We can't just go around loving everybody.
And that's true.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
And because you always, this is the conversation we always end up having, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I get it, Tash, but then I still see, because again, you are more involved
Yeah.
in the world. Everyone knows that now. We've spoken about this.
Yeah.
I don't watch the news. I'm aware of all of that. It's a conscious choice so that
That's
I can
right.
hold
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But you
I'm
are
still
in the
feeling those
world.
energies.
You're aware of it.
Yeah.
And let me be honest with you, if I was watching the news, I would be more in it as well, which is why I don't, because I can't be doing that
Sure.
with what I'm trying to do.
Mm.
But you are, and so you are going to have a different view from me.
There's just a very fine line, isn't there? Because everything that you said, I could not argue with, and I don't think anybody can.
Oh, I think people can.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there are people
Yeah.
that, if they really were honest with themselves.
Mm.
But I do, but see, and that's what I mean. You know where the line is. You're not saying, you're not trying to normalize anything.
No.
See, this is what I see. So in my little lovely reality over here,
Mm.
where I am involved with the news, you start thinking, it's like the inverted world. I'm seeing people trying to switch the roles of bad and good. Like, let's convince them all that bad is now good and good is bad. Or like the upside down world in Stranger Things. And I think, well, what's going on there? Like the more sinister undertones there that I can feel. Are they trying to normalize, for example, it seems to be like the paedophilia that's coming up for me, that I see people trying to normalize it. And I'm like, where is this going? So then my fear comes in.
When I say stuff like what I'm saying.
Not from you, because you makes it. You're not saying that that's okay. We should just love them regardless. What you're saying is, you're coming from a very different perspective there, aren't you? You're just saying you can understand where that's coming from. You're not saying, so go ahead.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what's being said
whereas
out
some
there, is it?
people, I feel like on the news, you know, articles that I might read is that people are trying to normalize it to make it acceptable. Like I've heard people say, you know, I'm trying to think of, I've heard like politicians say, you know, well, you know, it's okay to marry a, you know, a 9-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, you see, in my little world. And I feel like that's dangerous.
Yeah.
They're trying to normalize something
Right.
that's not, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get that. And you know, you summed it up when you said like, I'm not here to
Fix it.
fix it,
No,
specifically that. But
sure.
what I do feel like, because I'm not just saying I'm not just saying this for no reason.
Mm,
I do feel like it's not a fix, but it's a perspective shift that I truly believe humanity needs to have.
yeah.
It's something that we've spoken about before. But what I'm trying to tell you with that is when I'm saying about, you know, how I feel for
Mm,
right, okay.
Before we get on with the show, if you've been stuck in that loop of overthinking, procrastinating, beating yourself up, and then feeling frozen, you're not lazy. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. We made you a free 12-minute guided reset to help you soften, breathe, and come back into safety. It's in the show notes.
Not everybody has come in with the natural, say, ability. Like it felt like a curse at first, but it's not a curse. Like I know that now. Not everyone's come in with that.
No.
Or they have, and it's been so hardly
We're
programmed
heavily
out
programmed,
them,
aren't we?
you know, that, you know, I mean, because yes, technically we are all capable. We can all come in with that.
Mm,
We're pure, but programming affects people in different ways. But I also
Yeah.
think, just like any kind of gift or talent,
mm,
some people come in as talented footballers,
Yeah.
right? Like, or piano players, or so this is just something that I've happened to come in with a talent of
yeah.
having that natural capacity that hasn't been programmed out of me,
Yeah.
to feel and be aware. But I think I chose that because of the line of work that I'm in. We've just said
Makes
that, right?
sense. Yeah.
But so what I'm trying to say is that the reason I talk about this, and the reason that I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone to say this, is because, like I said, I feel like this is a really huge overarching part of my soul mission, which is to help the collective right now
Mm,
step out of this fear cycle of anger and
Yeah.
all of that stuff, which is control by them,
Yeah.
and into sovereignty, into empowerment, into cheesy but love.
mhm,
And love is not love. Like, love is something different than how we explain
Yeah.
love. You know, I love my child, I love my dog. You know, that's not love.
No.
That's just a human emotion that we call love. Love is something bigger than that. I feel like love is such a big thing. It's love is
It's
openness.
unconditional, isn't it? Yeah.
It's openness. It's compassion. It's a perspective.
Mm,
It's understanding. It's a feeling of power, a sense in yourself. Love is everything. Love is what we are. So that's what I'm saying when
Yeah.
the world needs to step into love. It's not like the world needs to step into love and we just
No,
all
and
need to
just
love each
let
other.
them all do what they want to do,
Exactly.
because that's not love for another set of people, is
No,
it?
and if people are doing that, the stuff that's dark, that's not coming from a place of love.
No.
It's coming from a place of fear and forgetfulness of who we are. So, you know, like I said, go back because I keep going off track. But the reason that I'm saying this and sharing this, and potentially that I've come in with this, and as have other people, is that we are supposed to be, we are the examples of how you can step out of this wheel of fear.
Sure, that's it. Yeah.
Because it's a choice. Again, the way that I see things, then, because of my ability, I've got it easy because I have an ability to naturally feel compassion for these bad people. But what we're doing is we are stepping out of that cycle of fear and anger, which only perpetuates this darkness. It perpetuates this world that we're living in
That's
of
it.
fear and
Yeah.
control. So when you can do what the people like me who have this compassion for people like that can do, and bravely say it, knowing that it's going to upset people and knowing that it does go against what your ego is saying, because I'm like, there are people out there who have been horribly abused as children. Like, there's no excuse for that. It's not because I get it, I understand, and it's not about that though. It's about the bigger perspective shift of
It's not about them almost, is it? It's
no.
about you and your energy and what you're putting out into the world.
Yes, and your perspective.
Yeah.
So the more people that can start having this kind of view and understanding and perspective,
Yeah.
the more that we will be able to step out of this loop of fear and control. Because when we're angry about paedophilia and we're angry about all the heinous stuff that's going on at the moment in the files and stuff like that, we are directing energy, negative fear, anger energy out into the collective, which is then felt by the collective, which then perpetuates the cycle, feeds the cycle, but also it's keeping you in a state of disempowerment because you're so angry, you're so scared, you are not going to be in your true purpose. You are not going to be living a life that lights you up. Therefore, you're not going to be completing what you've come here to do. And you're going to kick yourself when you get to the end of your life because you're like, God damn it, I didn't do it again. Right? It's time to step out of this fear. That is not doing anything. Our anger and our like hate towards all these people is not helping anyone. It's not helping the victims. It's not helping you. It's not helping the perpetrators either.
Exactly.
But if you can have the view of how I'm seeing things, and it's not about, like you have said, and you do keep saying, it's not about agreeing with what happens, because it's not. I don't agree with paedophilia.
No.
Of course I don't, right? But it's about having that view of I'm going to focus on love.
Yeah.
I'm not, or even, even if you can't get on board with that because you're like, oh, what is that? How do I even do that? Because again, I admit it's easy for me to say because I can feel it. I'm going to choose then not to focus on anger and fear. I'm going to choose not to give my energy to those things.
Yeah.
And instead, I'm going to give my energy to the things that, light me up, or the things I'm going to give love to myself. Even if you can't give love to those people, give love to yourself. Focus on the love is what I'm saying.
That's it. And that's what I sort of do now, which is why I'm a much happier person now.
Right?
So I focus on love. I'm more compassionate because, I there's, a lot going on there. It's not black and white, is it? But I then focus my love on just onto that victim. So instead of pushing anger and fear onto the victim, I just focus on that love, which in turn, that serves me then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That, you can't change what's happened, but you can send your love out into the world. Whereas before I was like, raging, angry, sad, frustrated. What's happening to the world? Hopeless. Oh, the inverted world. Oh, they're trying to turn us all upside down and inside out. What are they doing to society? They're trying to make it acceptable for this, and this. Well, no. The way you can stop it is you say no. No, they won't.
Yeah.
And as you say, like for you, you're not. You know where that line is. You're not you're not one of those people that are coming from, so let's just normalize everything so no one's ever wrong. You're saying that there's a bigger picture and to come at it from love because anger is going out into the world and this is not what we need right now, is it?
No.
We need to bring this vibration back up, focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
Be grateful for our own lives. And
and again, like when you're talking as well, it's just about this division. That's how is how I see it. This bigger picture.
It's a ploy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, how can we divide them? Well, there's so many ways, and that is one of them, isn't it?
And they don't have to divide us because we divide ourselves.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Like, unless you can change your perspective, you're gonna keep on being. There's always going to be someone who's wrong and bad. It's like, I was thinking about this the other day. Let's just talk about it all. But back in like however many 30 years ago, gay people, they were the bad ones. Nobody nobody understood them. They were victimized. That's where we were split, right?
True.
Fast forward 30 years on now. Well, now it's no, you said that's okay.
It's
Like
just
gay people are
normal.
fine. That's
Yeah.
normal. That's fine. But now we've got like, you know, LGBTQ and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And then all of a sudden transgender people were like, oh, I'm not, this isn't about views on transgenderism and all of that kind of
But
stuff.
it's like
what
they
I'm saying
have to bring in the next lot
there's
and the
the
next
next
lot and the next
yeah.
lot.
So now there's division here. It's
Yeah.
shifted. The people that were being like division, they're
Yeah.
now in it, but now we've got another division.
Yeah.
And then that goes
Yeah.
quiet. And
I
then
mean,
we've
look,
got another division.
BLM. Where's that
Yes.
gone?
Right? It's always about splitting people
Yeah.
up. And that's the deal. That's what it comes down to
Keeping
here.
people in anger, fear, resentment.
Yes. And what we have to remember is fucking so what if you're this color, you're blue, you're a man, you're a woman, you're so what? Be what you want to be and let everybody be that. I know you're going to have some stuff to say about this now, but let everybody be that. Like, we're humans. Just stop. And I'm talking from both sides. I'm not talking about any particular like minority here, because it happens on both sides. It happens on both sides. Can't we see each other as humans? Now, again, I know that I can sound really naive when I say that, but again, I can't see it any other way.
Well, that's the dream, isn't it? That's the ultimate goal, for sure.
But
it's the human mind that comes in and goes, oh, but how's that going to work? You know, how do we, police that? Because, for example, the transgender stuff, if you're love, you don't want to hurt anyone, then everyone's safe, aren't they? However, that then attracts the darker underworld to imitate these things, to cause harm. And you think, right, so that has to be policed somehow.
Yes.
But,
agreed.
Yeah.
And agreed. Because again, like, I live in the real world. I'm also a human being who, if, you start having the toilet debate and ask me what I think about that, and I'll have my views on it.
Yeah.
But it's my energy that I'm coming from within that situation, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
And this is what I find this really hard to kind of take out of my head and explain. But like you said, this isn't about me solving a problem and just say everybody love each other. It's not that. This is such a huge mess. We've got a lot of things that we have to change and unpack. But what I feel like we really need to do is, as these systems are all breaking down, because we all know everything's collapsing, it is, and that's for a reason, because they're not working. We need new systems. But I think, and systems meaning to be able to police things, to be able to have things like in control, because it's no different from us. Like what I just said earlier, yes, I can feel all this stuff for people, but if I don't have boundaries, I get myself into trouble. It's the same thing. We need boundaries, right? But and now I have boundaries. That doesn't make me any less feeling or caring. I'm more caring and feeling, but I'm also aware that there are things that I have to like not do, or boundaries I need to put in place. It's the same thing, right? So this isn't about just love each other and everything's going to be fixed. It's about change your perspective so that as the systems drop and collapse, the new systems that are being put in place are being put in place from a different perspective of an aim to bring us together, of an aim of from a perspective of love, from a higher perspective, because then people can step in. And like you said, I'm not here to create a solution for that. I'm here to model, like, this is the new energy, this is the new perspective. Nothing changes if nothing changes. If all these systems collapse and we put up new structures from the same energy as before, the same thing's going to happen. Or there's not going to be any new systems to put up, because there is nowhere else to go. The systems that are in this world are the ones that are here. There's nothing else. What we need is to come from a higher perspective, and those systems need to be set in place from that higher perspective. Then things are going to be different. So then that means people like you, and this is why I want people in their soul purpose, in their soul mission, because we are here now at a pivotal point where things are changing, and we need everybody in their soul mission in the right places. For me, I'm never going to be someone who's going to go out there and advocate for sexual abuse or for this or for that. That's not where my soul purpose lies. My purpose lies in helping people now
Yeah.
remembering who they are so they can go out and do these things, right? Everyone has a different place. But for you, for example, you connecting into what truly means something to you and what you feel like passionate about and what you're good at, and you being a projector, who I believe projectors are the ones that are going to step forward and become the new leaders. You have wisdom. You're the new leader, but you're a very different type of leader. Like, yes, you might be the one that needs to step up. It might be people like you that need to go into politics or need to go into, reforming school systems, educational systems, or this or that or that, because now you're coming from, you have a fire in your belly for it. You want to make decisions. You see things like, well, we can't have it like this anymore, right? Like, I'm not meant here to do that, but maybe you are, and people like you are, but you need to be doing it, which you are and you would, from a place of love and understanding. You
Yeah,
still
for
have a
sure.
strong
Yeah.
opinion, and you need to have for example, police these things, but you're gonna do it from a place of understanding and compassion, because you see what I'm saying and you understand
Yeah.
that, and you can do that, and then do you see how things will be different?
Yeah. I mean, the root at the end of the day is self-love, isn't it?
Yes.
If we can teach people, and of course, not everybody's blessed enough to be born into a loving household, but if we could have these systems in place, such as school, where they usually do still get to go to school,
Yeah.
if we could teach them from year dot how to love themselves, forget everybody else, forget about say sorry to them, you shouldn't have, all that. No, everybody love themselves. And then what happens when people love themselves? They don't want to hurt anybody else,
course
do
they
they?
don't.
Everybody that hurts somebody is someone who is self-loathing.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen my perspective change, like in real time, like, watching like these YouTubers on TV and things. Like, before, like, say the YouTuber is like my opinion, and they go out and they, antagonize the other side, and I was like, yeah, you tell them, yeah, what you got to say about that? Yeah. Now I watch it, and although I am more of that way aligned with it, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I can see what they're doing now, and I'm like, you're not coming from love, like you said. I thought you were, but you're not. You're there to antagonize. You're there to cause trouble. And, I saw this, poor woman that one of them like accosted, and she was obviously not well. And he was having a go at her, and she was struggling. And I thought, where is this getting anybody? What that woman needs is a bloody hug. Like, that man now, whoever's got the microphone, I can't see him behind the camera, needs to go and give that woman a hug and take her for a drink and say, you don't need to be out here doing this, because everyone out on that street, no matter what side you're on, is full of anger and fear.
Yep.
And you don't need to be doing it.
No.
You need to love yourself. And I saw another one. It was in America, and this lady was talking to a girl, and she said, well, how would you feel if someone came here now and just started shooting people?
Oh, that you sent me this one.
Did I
didn't
send it to you?
Yeah.
And she said, don't care, wouldn't care. She was like, oh, really? So, like, if someone came with a gun now and you started shooting everyone, don't give a shit. Oh, that's a really, really sad view of the world. I'm sorry you feel like that. And then someone shouted, well, what if they shot you? And she went, oh, I'd be so fucking happy.
And then you
the
saw
lady,
the emotion,
and
didn't you?
you saw her go, and who was full of rage. And then the lady said, now this lady was coming from she was coming from love, I felt,
I
unless
felt
it
that
was
too. Yeah.
contrived, I don't know, but she was different, wasn't she,
Yeah.
to your normal YouTuber?
Yeah.
And she said, so that's the real problem, isn't it? That you don't love yourself. And she just went, didn't she? And she couldn't handle it. And I'm thinking that soul is standing there full of all this hatred for one half of society, when all she needs to do is love herself. So if we could just give everybody the tools, and like we said, like, we know people are born into
Yeah, but Bex,
hideousness,
even if you're
but
born in, I've seen it myself, even if you're born
yeah,
into loving families, you still have
sure,
self-love
she
problems because
do.
that's
Yes,
what I deal with on a
we
daily
did.
basis.
You
Of
know,
course, we all do.
we all do.
Part of the
And
human
no one,
condition.
and yeah, they've conditioned us that way. So if we could at least empower these babies from nursery.
But then can I go back to, so thank you for saying that, because that's so important, and it's such like, it's like that's the biggest point here. And
Mm,
that is again what
mm,
I'm doing. I'm constantly
mm,
trying to build people's self-love so that
mm.
they can go out and be like what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Um but this is why then when you said that, and that poor lady just needs a hug,
Mm,
and that person, it's all about self-love, and that person just needs to know, just love yourself.
mm,
That's how I see,
yeah.
going back to the people that do these horrible things,
Mm,
that is what I can't help but see and feel
yes.
when and that's why I want to give them a hug, because I just want to grab them and say, I see you, it's
Mm,
okay,
mm,
like you're still loved, you're
mm,
still loved. Because again, like, you're not talking to that adult that's done the horrible things, you're talking to
mm,
the little boy or the little
yeah.
girl in there that hasn't been loved and doesn't love themselves. And that's what I see. And again, like, I didn't know that until I started doing this work. But
Yeah.
everybody just needs to know that they're loved. And that's why this world is in such a horrible place, because none of us love ourselves. Like, we don't.
No. We're a mess.
It's so sad.
Yeah,
And
it
it
is.
sounds so,
And it's so fixable, which I
yes,
know it's not as easy as that,
it's
but it
not
is
easy.
fixable. It's like you said, it's our conditioning. They wanted us like this. From the moment we're born,
Yeah.
this is the plan.
Yeah.
They don't want us in self-love. I mean, some of us, you know, a few of us come in, don't we, into the world
I
with
think
all this
very
self-love.
few, yeah.
Very few
Very
have I
few.
met, have I
Yeah.
seen,
Yeah.
you know, but you get the odd one. But a lot of us, we have to learn it
Yeah.
because we're
We
strict.
have to
Well,
remember
I
it.
mean, we come in like that, like you say.
Yeah.
We have to remember it because we do come in like that. But as soon as we're old enough to understand, we are stripped of it
Yeah.
in everywhere we look.
Yeah.
You know, and it is such a sensitive time. But if we could all just get aligned with this, how we treat children and how we get them to grow, you know, so if they do have a bad home life, at least they can come to school and learn how to empower themselves.
Mhm.
But all they do is they're usually the troubled child. They come to school, they get in trouble all day, they hurt other children, they get put in isolation.
And it's just
How
feeding
is
it's just feeding the cycle of
absolutely
shame and
ridiculous? How is this helping?
and our school system is the big one that
It
needs to
is.
drop and break,
Because they could actually make a difference.
yeah, and that's where again they're the most programmable. Like I
Yeah.
said, all my regressions will go back. So many will
Every
go back to
time.
school.
Yeah.
And I see it with my daughter, and I'm constantly battling
Yeah.
about building her self-worth up, because
Yeah.
school is constantly breaking
Trying
it down.
right?
And it's not about blaming the teachers.
I mean,
Like,
some teachers are absolutely bloody
yes.
amazing. But the problem is, you in senior school anyway, and you don't have the same teacher all the way through school.
No. And teachers don't know about this stuff.
Teachers don't love themselves.
No. And they certainly don't understand what they're doing.
No.
They don't understand how their words are programming our
That's
children.
right.
And how the school structure itself is built
Yeah.
to break our spirits. Like,
Mhm.
again, it's not getting into conspiracy stuff or whatever, but when you start seeing things, you're like, well, school is a perfect way to break a soul spirit
Sure.
and
My
get them
God,
into fear
yeah.
and get them into
Genius.
self-loathing and get them to forget their power.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing this podcast, because
Yeah.
we're like, right, get back to school, but this is bash school.
Yeah.
This is bash school, you're going to remember. But, you know, like, I feel like we could go on and on about this now. But I think we've made
I
our
think
point,
yeah,
haven't
for
we?
sure. Yeah.
And again, it's not about like, listen to this episode and everybody's going to be loving and everyone's going to, you know, it's not about that.
But where do we start?
But where do we start?
This is the solution,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
How do you get the rest of the world on board?
Yeah. And the answer to that is you start with yourself.
Exactly. And you guys, everyone that's listening, everyone that might be a teacher, thank you, because you're in the schools and you're doing it for
Yeah.
us. Because I do think that's like such a huge part, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, well, like you said, everyone goes back to childhood, all that time in class, all that teacher, all that kid, you know. So everybody that is doing it, oh God,
Yeah.
thank you, because it's a battle. It must be a battle for you if you are this sensitive, spiritual, loving soul who can see these little souls for what they are,
Mhm.
and you're trying to battle the system.
Yeah. And that's not just in schools, that's everywhere. People will be back in the healthcare,
Yeah,
in government,
that's
just
it.
in all of the financial industries, in all
Yeah,
of these
media.
media,
Yeah.
all of these structures that are built around control and fear and division.
Hmm.
You know, there are people in there who are awake and aware and feeling and doing good work. But
Yeah.
I just really want to say as well, like, please know, like you said, how do we do this? Well, we start with ourselves. We do, and know that the work that you're doing for yourself, if you can start opening yourself even up to this perspective and seeing another way, you will have direct consequences. Your energy is going to have direct consequences on the people around you, and then inevitably the collective. Because I know that I'm grateful all the time for every person that's doing their work. Every time we come across people, like if our guests on the podcast,
That's it.
people you speak to on
Yeah.
the streets, like the people, that are like audience that message us, I'm like, thank you for doing this work, because
Yeah.
you're another light
Yeah.
that is blasting out this higher frequency,
So
and it's going to
important.
help all of
Yes.
us. And it's almost like we're on a tipping point.
Yeah.
And you don't need so much light to conquer the darkness,
No.
like as you do. So it doesn't need to, it's not like, oh, it has to be balanced and even. It's
Sure.
not like light just so outweighs
Yeah.
the dark. And the more you step into your power, and again, cheesy phrase, but step into your power. When I say that, like, remember who you are, remember you have a choice, remember you are love, and you are, you're not hopeless and you're not helpless. And the only way you can start understanding that is by choosing to see a different way, to step out of the system, to step out of the programming and see a different way. Best way to do that: focus on yourself. Stop focusing on the external. All this stuff that's going on at the moment, it's perfect. It's perfect to keep you in that loop. But you can choose at all times to not look at that, not feed that, take your focus away from that and start focusing on yourself. And that will automatically be love. Like, if you're actively trying to work on yourself, that's going to come from a place of love. It's going to open up love, and it's just going to outshine all that shit. It's the only way that we can do it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. These years of wars and division and fear and anger and blaming somebody else, where has it got us to? Not a good place, if you ask me. So in my logical mind, I'm thinking now, like, obviously now knowing what I know and being aware of all of this stuff, is that, well, we have to do something completely different. How do we do something completely different? We step out above the perspective that we're in, and we look at it from a bigger perspective, and that's going to trigger you as a person. It's triggered me, it's going to trigger other people. But fight it. Know there is another way. Be strong, have courage, know that you can do that, and when you see it, you can't unsee it, and it just makes sense. And that is that's the point that we're at now, and that's why we wanted to have this conversation, and hopefully it's opened some people up. Maybe it's triggered you, but that's a really good thing, because you guys all know now that when you get triggered, it's a message to say,
pay attention.
What do I need to look at here,
That's right.
So yeah, I'm sorry for getting emotional. No, I'm not sorry, actually. I'm not sorry, but
we need it.
I obviously needed that, because I didn't know, like, I didn't know that there was that much emotion there.
That's what we all needed to hear as well. So thank you, my lovely.
Thank you guys. Come on, like we said in the beginning, come on over to our Facebook community. We'd love to have conversations about this over here. We've got lots of stuff going on over there. We're planning lots of free events. Well, we've already got one planned, haven't we? It might be done by the time this one goes out. But we're getting more and more active over there. We really want to build a community where we can have safe conversations like this, and we can challenge each other. I love being challenged, because I'm always trying to break out of my views. Even now, I know I'll still be in a box. So the more people, like, say, controversial things to me,
Yeah.
or like things that aren't necessarily like of my opinion,
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so open to it because it makes me then challenge myself and say, yeah, how can I see this another way? Or sometimes it secures my beliefs and I'm like, no, because I can still see it that way and I still choose to be, it's just really helpful.
And that's another thing, just quickly as well, isn't it? When you do come at somebody with another opinion in peace and love, that person will receive it. I know,
Absolutely.
like, if I've been attacked on Facebook, like with nastiness, I'm not going to listen to that person. I just think, just proving my point, you're hideous.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to want to believe anything that comes out of your mouth. So if we could all just speak nicely to each other like this, we can all understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's like you said, you'll see certain people that are speaking about a subject that doesn't even necessarily, it's like opposed to yours. But when you see them speak with that level of just owning it, like basically just saying, this is how it is, there's no emotion or anger, or it is just neutrality. When they speak like that, you can't argue with them.
No. And you want to listen.
And you want to listen, and you do listen, and you see then someone else on the other side of things. I'm talking specifically politics here because it's very well shown in this, isn't it? You see someone else who's clearly coming, he's like, rah, 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 rah. They talk over people, they're angry, you feel it, and you're just like, oh, for God's sake. Then you see someone like that and you can see the difference, and that's what we're aiming for. We want to be like that. Like, I'd be perfectly happy for someone to come and sit in that chair who is staunchly against me, and I'm not saying it wouldn't make me feel uncomfortable and I'd start like scrabbling a little bit, but I'm at the point enough now where I do not feel like I have to convince anyone of my beliefs.
No.
I don't have to justify myself to anyone anymore. And I am also very perfectly understanding that they are well within their rights to have their own opinions of their own and to have their
That's right.
opinions and judgments of me. It's none of my business. It's okay. That's great. It's what makes the world different. But at the same time, I believe in my own, like, I've spent enough time trusting my soul and my intuition and myself that I feel comfortable in how I believe now, but also knowing that it's not necessarily the truth and it might change, and that's okay as well. We just have to have this openness, this absolute openness to yourself and to everyone else. And that's how we're going to move forward, because it's not about all having the same opinions and all of us believing the same things.
No.
That's never going to be the goal. We want differing opinions, but what we want is that we can all understand that that's okay and work with it.
That's it.
Because that's how we have the new kind of structures come into place.
Yes.
That's
We've cracked it.
Becky and Tash for president. Prime Minister, whatever. So much I know about politics. Oh God. Right, guys, we will see you next week.
Ooh.
Take care.
Bye.